Here we are. Welcome back, everybody, for another episode of KRISCHAT. Running title. Is that what you would say? I think that's what you would say, right? Running title. I think I want to change it, but I don't know what yet. But either way, we're here with another one. I figured in today's episode we could talk about kind of my work and then what comes along with that. I wouldn't say Lauren's involved in that, but like her thoughts on it and things like that. We'll talk about that a little bit more, just because my job is kind of in the public eye. It's in media, social media world, which is pretty public, I would say. We're gonna get into that. So, like I said in the last episode, for people who don't know, I do video. What's my official title? I can never remember.
I don't know. It's your title.
Senior Digital Media Production Coordinator. Yes, that's it. Senior Digital Media Production Coordinator for the Grand Rapids Griffins, which is a pro hockey team out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. We are the direct affiliation with the Detroit Red Wings. Pretty much I work in the media. Post media, social media, posting for Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and then I also do all the in-game like post-production videos, and then pretty much anything that needs a video made. 9.8 out of 10 times comes from me for the team. We obviously have a team. We have a photographer, a direct social media coordinator, myself, interns, and then obviously our boss at top of us, but he also does other things as well. So what we want to post, what we want to film, series we want to do, but we work pretty closely with the team in that aspect, filming with them and getting them to want to film stuff, if that be social media, TikToks, type day of, phone content, or if we actually want sit down content. Lauren, I would say, is not pretty involved. I mean, she is pretty.
Oh. Thanks.
She's not involved directly with my job, but she does help out, like at our past seasons.
Did you not mean to call me pretty?
I said Lauren is pretty, and then I paused, and then I continued going, and then I said, well, she is pretty. She doesn't actually work for the team or involved with the team, but because we are.
I am the honorary giver of music, though.
Well, yeah, I
would say that I pick more of the music than you do.
When I am struggling, because if anybody who does understand video editing or any sort of video content, I would say one of the hardest things besides learning the editing is picking the music. Finding good music that fits the vibe of the video you want. That also can be used like copyright free, or in some scenarios non-copyright free because of what it's being used for and anything like that. So I ask her sometimes for ideas or music that she might think will be good for like hype videos or in-game content and stuff like that. So what I was getting to was that the season is still currently going on at this point. It's March, season goes till April, and then playoffs are after that. But this season's media day, which was in
I forgot about that.
September? No.
November.
Yeah.
No.
November.
It was before the first game.
October.
So early October.
Yeah, early October. We have a media day, which is when we get all the photos for the headshots. We film any kind of like generic content that can be used throughout the season, if that be like video headshots for player introductions.
Golfing.
What's that?
They were putting.
Yeah, like generic. So we had like a little putting green thing, like practice putting green out that they could play on, and we'd film it, and then that we could use for content at any point of the season. It's not dated content. We did some other generic stuff, like we have some sponsored stuff where like a thing called Pint Size Picasso, which is where we get kids to draw pictures of the players, and then the players have to guess who the drawing is. Those pictures are, so they're sitting down kind of like with the green screen behind them, and then they film that. This year we filmed them like in duos or trios at a time.
Speaking Swedish.
Well, there's speaking
always a good
Swedish.
one.
It's the same thing where we give them Swedish words, and then the non-Swedish players have to figure out, like, guess what that word is, and then they get told if they're right or wrong, and then we tell them what the right word is. So that's all the content that's like, those two things are sponsored content, so we have to do that. Like that has to be done. We have to do a certain amount of those videos. Other things we did, I think one of the things we did was like...
Did you say whoops for me?
Well, I said whoops because I bumped the microphone, but you said whoops because you dropped something. One of the other things that we filmed were more like TikTok challenges, like stacking Oreos with chopsticks, like just kind of like generic. It was just
That
for...
happened?
Yeah, that was in one of the other like media rooms.
Oh.
We had them use a Bop It. We ended up not using that content because it was good, but they didn't say anything. So it's like you just
They
see...
didn't talk the whole time.
They didn't
You were
talk.
just listening to
You
the
were
Bop
just
It.
listening them do Bop It stuff. And we had it cut together, and
They were concentrating.
that's the problem. None of them were like, oh, I missed it, or like, I got this, or like just kind of funny content. So we ended up not using that. But
yeah.
those are things that we film during Media Day. One of the things for me is I make the video introductions. So if you were to go to a game of any, not just for the Griffins, but like any game, when the starting lineup is announced, they play like their headshot, their number, their position, all that stuff like on the big screen. I make those for our team. So I have to get the player headshot in video, have them turn around or like hold a hockey stick in this case, or like
Some kind of movement.
Yeah, throw a puck up or something. But we also get their signatures. And what I
I
do...
feel like that's like a recently popular thing.
Getting signatures?
Yeah, like in the last like 3 years.
I've seen it on a lot of stuff, but like I
In
focus
the
on it
last
more.
3 years.
Probably longer than that.
Okay.
But the way I get their signatures is I just have a blank, like a big stack of blank computer paper, whatever paper, and we have a big Sharpie, and we tell them to do their signature as big as they can, because then I will scan it in to the computer, or take a picture of it, put it on the computer, bring it into Adobe After Effects, which is the program I use to animate, and then I animate the signature with a stroke, and I make it look like a pen stroke or like a marker stroke, and then that signature then can be changed from black or white or any color we want and used in any video format. In this case, I use it for the player intro, so it's like they're signing the video. Well, we were short some people, and Lauren came and helped, and she was the one getting all the player signatures. So she was the one, she can maybe explain a little bit better, but she was sat at a table and was just like...
I feel like I stood most of the
Well,
time.
you stood at a table and you said, signature, please, as big as you can.
I don't know if I said that.
What'd you say?
I said, sign, please. And they're like, what for? Every person, what for? What for? I said, because they're going to animate it. It's going to be super cool.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I said I didn't, because I was
said
still...
he.
Well,
He's going to animate it.
So that's what she did. So she kind of got to see a lot of the players at the beginning of the season. See which ones she liked, didn't like. I wouldn't say didn't like, but like ones that were like friendly from the start.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's like one that actually introduced himself, you know, not like they have to, you know, it's not required, but it was just like, hey, I'm so-and-so, nice to meet you. And I'm like, wow, thanks.
Well,
Nice to meet you also.
And also in another scenario, like...
It's also not their favorite thing to do.
Well, yeah, Media
Like,
Day is
they're
very...
hockey players. They want to go play hockey.
Media Day can be very daunting for some players, which sometimes makes it hard for my job, but that's also just part of the job. We didn't have any... I've been there for 2 years. This was my second Media Day. Obviously, already kind of planning some stuff for next year's, because that's what we do in the off season is plan that stuff.
You're not in the off season yet.
Well, like, we kind of start putting together what needs to be planned in the off season because it's close to the end of this season, and that's what our summer is figuring that stuff out. But I haven't had any bad media day experiences. It's just that some of the guys like it, some of the guys don't. There's nothing, they don't have to like it. They don't, but they do have to be there for it. But in Lauren's case, she doesn't, I wouldn't say she cares about hockey, but she doesn't care about hockey in the same way that, like, I guess a normal hockey fan would.
Yes, I would not consider myself a avid hockey fan. I know, obviously, more than, I guess the standard person just from you, but I don't know. I'm not like, I don't ogle over the players. I'm not like, oh my God, it's...
You're also not going to pick your
whoever.
favorite player based on if they're a good player or not.
No.
Yeah. Not saying, like...
I go based off of personal experience.
Yeah, so it's like...
I pick my favorite person, not my favorite player.
If you were to, especially for the Griffins, because in our case, a little sidetrack here, a lot of the teams change year to year for the Griffins because we are a direct feed to the Detroit Red Wings.
That's my biggest struggle. I get attached.
Well, because we are a direct feed to the Detroit Red Wings, if people don't understand how that works or the AHL works, because that's the league we are in, we are the kind of development league for the NHL. So the guys who come here to play with the Griffins, in my case, their whole, I would say 90% of them, their goal is to develop with the Griffins and then move on to the Red Wings or just move up to the NHL. Year to year, 90% of the team changes. Obviously, we have the younger guys who stay here for a year or two and then move up or get traded or go, overseas or anything like that and play there. But there's only like a handful of core Griffins players that are signed to just a Griffins contract, that are not signed to a Red Wings contract. They are signed by the Griffins, they play for the Griffins, and they play in the AHL. So those guys come back year to year, and that sometimes tends to be like the local favorites, like the captain or someone that's been here that for a couple of years, so people really learn their names. But a lot of the guys who people's favorite players are going to be the Detroit Red Wings prospect players who are moving up to the Detroit Red Wings, so they become their favorite player here, and then they became their favorite player when they were drafted or whatever. But we don't have guys like at the Detroit Red Wings level like a Dylan Larkin who just signed an 8-year deal, and he's going to be, kids' favorite players because he's the captain of the Red Wings. He's not going anywhere. In our case, we do have a captain, Brian Lashoff, who's been here for, I think, 12 seasons or something like that. But that's not that common in our league. So when it comes to having favorite players, you can't really have a favorite based on them being with your team. You have to have a favorite player based on, like, they score a lot of goals or something like that. But in I don't even know if that makes sense. But in Lauren's case, her people that she likes or favorite players are not based off of their play style or how they look, because there are some people who fangirl.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like how people are obsessed with music artists, because like in what was it, like 2008-9 when Justin Bieber was big. Is he the best singer in the world? No. But a bunch of people thought he was cute, so, he's popular.
And that's sports teams in general.
Yeah.
That's how some people, they find the player attractive, and they become their favorite player. This is a long loop around to get to her favorite players and why, and or where they are now, because I think all of them are gone because of how our league works, right? Mm-hmm. So, was it just the two guys, Cedric and UC?
That are gone?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So, they were just nice guys. They were funny. They did good for content.
Mm-hmm. I think that's probably why I like them, is because they, they're just normal guys.
But they are both gone. They moved on to different teams. Part of the job, part of being a professional athlete is you get moved to different teams and go different places, contracts get cut, all that stuff.
I know. I'm happy for them, but still,
yeah,
they're
both
my guys.
They're still both playing hockey, but they were great for content. And I don't know that side of the hockey ops in the sense of like why they left or what happened to why they left or why people got traded, but the bigger names on the team, like Simon Edvinsson, Alex Nedeljkovic, who's our goalie right now. There's Taro Hirose, those guys, or all the prospects, Albert Johansson and Emil Vero and all those guys.
You're saying all these names, like, well, I guess they won't get traded anymore.
The trade deadline is over, yeah, but what's going to happen to them at the end of the season? Are some of them going to go up to the Wings? Are some of them going to stay with us? But I'm saying that because they're not your favorite players. But those are the guys who...
I like Taco.
Well, yeah, but like...
He's not my favorite player. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, the reason why they're people's favorite players are not... You're not going to pick them as their favorite player because of that.
Yeah.
Because they're a big Red Wings prospect or something like that. What?
I could hear you swallowing.
Oh, I had to take a drink. But jumping in like more on the media side of things, I mean, Lauren does come to a lot of games, because if she's not working, like, why not? She would rather come to a game than sit at home.
Do nothing.
Yeah. I mean, you could sit at home with Kona. You gotta get out of the house away from her once in a while.
Yeah, I need to get out of the house for mental sanity.
I guess, what is like your view of my job?
What do you mean?
Like what? I guess what do you think about it? What are your opinions of it? What's it? Is it similar to like things that you know of work, being around the hockey team, or is it completely different and it's just something you don't understand?
I mean, I don't think there's anything that I don't understand.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
It's media. Like, I think it's...
Like, do you have questions about my job?
No. Was I supposed to? I didn't come prepared with questions.
Oh, no.
It's a media-based job, so it's not something that a lot of people are super familiar with, but... I mean, being with you for 5 years, like, I am very desensitized to it. Like, not in a bad way, but it's just like I'm used to it.
Well, yeah.
It doesn't faze me. Like, I know that, there's days where you just, sit in front of the computer and edit all day. There's days where you're like, hey, can you find me a song? Or, like, days where you are gone overnight because you're going with the team to Chicago. It's not your average business trip, but it is for you.
Working in sports is not the most average job, I would say. Like, there are parts of it that are average. Like, not even, I wouldn't say average. That makes it sound bad. But, like...
Doesn't make it sound bad.
No, like working in the ticketing people. Like they come to the games, they do a 9 to 5, or whatever, 8 to whatever.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But like they're never going to travel with the team to make video content, or their day does not involve going to Buffalo Wild Wings to film an episode of what we call Blazing Wings.
Blazing Griffs.
Sorry, Blazing... I don't even know my own content.
Yeah, what the hell?
Blazing Griffs, which is the guys eating hot wings, and we ask them questions, like other shows that are on YouTube and things like that. That's my normal work day. And, like she said, some days are made up of just sitting in front of the computer all day and editing days, which I do a lot.
Oh, no.
Just dropped beads all over the floor.
No, it was not all over the floor.
It was a lot of beads, though.
They're on the table. I think maybe 2 fell on the floor.
Well, that's good. I was worried that more fell on the floor.
No.
I guess, is it a job that you would want? Like, is it something that you're interested in? Not saying, like, you would want the job, but does it interest you? Or is it not, like, I would not want to do that? That does not sound fun to me.
Like, in itself or certain parts? What are you referring to?
I guess, like, in this sense, because we're just talking about my job, like, when I talk about my job, do you go...
Well, I am a creative person, so, like, I can relate to it. Like, I, help you pick out music and stuff, and I tell you, I feel like my opinion is not from a less of a consumer standpoint and more of a creative standpoint with, like, my opinion on your videos and stuff. I feel like it's different if you're not someone with a creative brain.
Well, yeah. And
I think that if I don't know anything that goes into the editing side of it, which makes it hard because but like the cinematic part, when you like make the openers and stuff like that part I can relate to, because just as a creative person, I do that in my mind a lot. Like, I'll listen to music and like create videos in my head just randomly.
Yeah, but you
like,
don't know how to like create.
I don't know how to, I don't know how to execute it, but I can see it in my head. Because like even listening to like we haven't planned a freaking thing for
a trip.
What?
Are you saying planned a trip?
No.
Or a wedding?
Yeah.
Oh.
We haven't planned anything for a wedding, but I already know, like, I have it narrowed down to, like, 3 different songs that I like. And I have, like, a wedding video in my head.
Just finding someone to do the video because I can't do it.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day, too.
I don't know, because, like, it seems...
I don't know, do you see it that way, though?
Well,
like,
yeah.
How do you...
Well,
what's your opinion of me in your work?
I don't know. In the sense of, like, not even just you, just in general, because it's so normal to me. Because not even when I worked for the hockey team, but, like, I've been doing media or, like, this type of work for... I mean, on and off for like 10 years now. So like even when it wasn't my full-time job, I was still doing this, for myself or freelancing, doing wedding videos or working with other businesses, doing freelance work. So when it comes to making the videos and doing the content, I've been doing it for, a third of my life, right? Mm-hmm. A fourth. No, it'd be a fourth. I had the percentage wrong, right?
I don't know.
Would 10 years of 30 be a fourth or a third?
10 years of 40?
Of 30.
30 would be a third.
A third.
You're not 40.
So yeah. Not 40 yet. So I was right.
Stop.
So I was right.
Don't even talk like that.
So that makes it seem like I've been doing it since I was 10. But I've been doing it no, that was reversed. I've been doing it longer than 10 years. Because I started really doing it, like video, or like just media in general, like out of, like around college when I did go. Getting that in a minute.
We've already talked about that.
Well, did we?
Yeah, in the first episode.
Oh, I can do a brief thing on it in a second. So I was what was that, 18? 19? Mm-hmm. No, would that be 20?
No, you start college at 18.
So yeah, so
unless your
12
birthday
years.
Is in the fall, and then sometimes 19.
Yeah, so like almost 12 years.
Yeah.
But I would say professionally, like 5, 6. Obviously those first couple years don't, because you have no idea what you're doing. You're very amateur when it comes to media.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like me, and
No,
I was like,
am.
I don't claim to know anything.
No, me. Because I did photography and then didn't know what I wanted to do and then found out I liked video more and so on and so forth. It just seems like so normal to me that like when I think of another job, that seems boring.
Like my job?
Yeah, but like even your job has... It's just that your job doesn't have creative like my type of creative. Like I couldn't imagine, now that I do video and like media full time, I couldn't imagine having a job not doing media full time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I've done so many jobs in the past that weren't media, and all I wanted to do was jobs in media. But even when I say media, I had this thought in my head. When I say media, not even just social media, just making videos. Because I wouldn't say I do our social media.
No.
I make videos
You
for
make content
I make
for the
I make
social
content
media.
for the social media. But when it comes to the day-to-day social media running, that's not me. I don't run our social media. I don't run the Griffin social media. I run my own social media. I just make some of the contents for the TikTok and YouTube and anywhere else a video is seen. It's mine, like we talked about at the beginning. I feel like also working in sports is very, is polarizing the right word? Like,
Where are you going with
like
it?
some people have no idea what it even means, and then other people, I don't even know. Like I've seen stuff online where people are like, working in sports is not worth it. I've seen other people post that like it's just because of the schedule is so crazy.
And it's not
Sometimes.
for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it depends on like where you are in your life, and like there's so many factors.
Yeah. I guess for me it was very, without it actually being a goal. Like I wouldn't say like my goal in life to work for a hockey team.
You just wanted to make videos.
I just wanted to make videos, but now that I'm making videos for a hockey team, I don't know if I'd want to do it for anything else.
Stop. That's so cute.
Well,
I love that you're like passion, like it's passion, you know, and
yeah.
it's like it makes me smile when you say that because, you know, obviously I want you to be happy in what you're doing, and I know like we've been together long enough that I've seen you in jobs that don't, make your heart sing. So
Well, yeah.
like you being able to be at that place.
Yeah. It's just because I've done generic like marketing job where like you work for a marketing agency and you make videos for different businesses, and like that was fun. Like I got to make videos and have,
I think that job was good for connections. Like, you got to meet
yeah.
cool people in the industry. And I think, there were a couple that like gave good advice and stuff like that. Like I don't think I'm
But
glad you had that job.
well, I also thought like, because a normal marketing agency, any marketing agency, they whoever pays them to make stuff, they do it for. So unless you have like obviously every marketing agency, and it's hard for me to speak on like actually marketing agencies because like I've only worked for one for a year. So they have specialties, like their specialty is doing these type of videos or these type of websites or whatever their thing is. But I thought having the ability to do different projects on like a more regular basis was going to be fun because it's always changing. But then I found out that I did not like that. And now working for the hockey team, it's the same, but not. Because
it's consistent change, not consistently changing.
yeah. Being at the level of hockey we are, which is pro hockey, but just not NHL level, our number one thing is the fans. Because we have hardcore fans of the team, like I'm sure every team does. But because our players change so much, our focus is letting people have a good experience. So I get to make like cool hockey hype videos, but then on top of that, making content that gets people excited to be there. So like showing fans in the videos on the big board, I think that's the unique draw to it, is like we try to keep it fresh. We try to change it up monthly. So if there are people listening that do attend Griffins games regularly, if you do or don't, if you come in like November and then you come again in March, the videos are going to be completely different. The opener, the second period opener, third period opener, because I make new videos every month or on a semi-monthly basis to keep it fresh, to like give people different experiences for the holidays, we kind of do more Christmassy style videos or holiday style videos. That's our kind of draw, is fan experience at a hockey game. Not so much just a hockey game being at a hockey game, I guess is my thing to say, but I enjoy it. And then I enjoy the ability to try different content like Blazing Griffs, which is a Hot Ones
Yeah, you said that earlier.
spin-off where we get 3 of the guys. We've done 4 episodes. I'm currently editing the 4th one right now. We get 3 guys, sit them down. We have 3 different styles of wings, or 3 like different levels of wing, going from like a semi-hot to their hottest, blazing. And then we ask them questions, Instagram photos or tweets, or like get to know questions and then stuff like that. And like that's fun, being able to kind of produce those videos and then set them up, and the gear and the lighting and everything. And like that's a really fun perk of the job, on top of being able to attend the games while working and understanding that line, because I think that's another big thing that people don't fully understand or can comprehend, is the work attendance like line, like not being a fan but still being a fan, but knowing when you need to work.
Well, yeah, it's like what they said at the beginning, like they're your coworkers.
Yeah, like the players are our coworkers. Like we're not, it doesn't matter who they are. Like they're just someone else working, getting a paycheck and doing their job. Their job is playing hockey, where my job is making videos for them playing the hockey. But they are just coworkers in a different department, is another way to look at it. And a lot of people, it's surprising how many people don't understand that concept. People who just want the autographs and to meet the people and all that, meet the players and stuff. But when you really realize that a lot of these guys are like 19, 20 years old, like they're children.
They're not children. They're young.
They're young.
Children is under 18.
Some of them have never even lived on their own up until this point. I mean, a lot of them do come from overseas, so that's a different thing too. Is like they're moving from Europe, or where, somewhere in Europe or something like that.
Well, yeah, think about how scary that is. Your first time living on your own is across the country from your family.
Yeah. So like that's like they're dealing with their own issues just as much as I deal with, like having a 2-year-old golden retriever at home that likes to be annoying sometimes. So just don't think about those things, because like I feel like when you watch like hockey or like a sport on TV, you just like, that's an athlete. Like you don't really think about the general public doesn't think about their like outside of the sport life. So that's something that we kind of we get to learn. We do get to meet the players and get to know them a little bit. If some of the older guys have kids and stuff, we can, we see them and we see that sometimes, and that's really cool to see that and be able to get videos and photos of them to share with
for
them.
Yeah,
for them, which is the cool part, because they're not always doing it. Like if they are married and have kids, like they're obviously playing, but if the wife brings a kid to the game, they're also trying to watch their, husband and or father play. So we get the special, unique position to get content of that. But then we also ask them permission if we can post that content. And then we also give that to them to have for their own, because they might not always get that. So that's like a cool part of it as well, that I didn't even think about when I got the job, because it's like you don't really realize that. I guess, like, what else is there to talk about? Like, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more to talk about, but I guess when it comes to editing, when it comes to editing, if anybody wants to know, I do use the Adobe Suite. That's everything I use at work. I didn't really want this episode to be, it was about my job, but not about my job. It was about my job, but not like we got Cone over here getting excited. Not so much about like the details of like how I edit and what I do. If people want to know that, like, please let me know and I can go into it. Like, what else do you have to say about what I do in my job? Like, what's the, like, do you get people like asking you about it? Like, has you ever had anyone at your job ask, like, they find out I work for the team, like, do they say anything about it?
I mean, it's usually not anything farther than, like, does he like it? You know, it's usually, does he like it? And then follow-up question is, so does he want to work for the Red Wings?
Well, yeah, that's always the follow-up question. It's like, because it is not the top, but that's a whole different aspect in itself because, and Lauren and I have had those conversations multiple times, but like, for me personally, if I was like, when I look at like, the younger me, it's like the Red Wings, like to say, I would never think I'd be ever able to work for the Red Wings, let alone any sports team. Never even thought about it being an opportunity or a possibility. But, Kona's freaking out.
She hasn't eaten.
That is true. I mean, we're finishing up here, but like, it's not just I work for the Griffins and then maybe I'll work for the Red Wings because that's the like progression that like the players do. But like
Sometimes the people do.
Well, yeah, it has happened in the past. Yes. But it's not the same type of progression because it's a job. It's a 9 to 5. Like I don't even work for I work for the Griffins, but there is an organization behind that owns that name that I technically work for, and it's just working for that organization that is the Grand Rapids Griffins. So it's not like the Detroit Red Wings can just call up and pull me up in the sense they do with like a player. On top of that, like I'd have to move. We'd have to move.
Just you.
We'd have to move. We'd have to like, you would have to find a new job. Like there's those things in it as well that I tell people all the time where it's like, it's not just my decision. It's a job, yes, but like I like where I'm at. I like what I'm doing. So like, why would I, other than just the name of working for like a bigger team, there's more than just like, yes, I want to go work for that team. Obviously, if I was younger, like I was saying earlier, like I would not hesitate, but now I would hesitate because there's more things that need to be talked about than just, yes, I want to go work for that team. So I'm happy at where I'm at because it is where we are from, where we live. We
Say we're not from here.
We didn't have to relocate
Yes.
when I got the job. So that was like the biggest, the biggest, I almost said biggest plus, but I guess that makes sense, but I just like what I'm doing, and I'm sure there's a lot more that can be talked about. Like, I guess it's gotten me opportunities. Like I talked about in the last one, I was able to meet Bert Kreischer because of it. I have traveled to some other arenas and other teams, gotten to meet a lot of people in the industry that also do the same job as me at other teams that have come here or that I've met at other arenas. So that's really cool, making connections with other hockey media people just through social media. Like, it's cool to have this position that has a rapport. Not the wrong word.
Where are you trying to go with it? That like people like working there?
No, like there's some like meaning behind my job. So when I message someone, I go, "Hey, I do this at my job," they'll respond. Does that make sense? Like, "Hey, I do this. It's similar to what you do. I would love to connect and talk to you about things."
Yeah.
So would rapport be the right word? I think one of the bigger things that recently just happened, and I'll end on this, but like I watch a lot of YouTube, and I find this super interesting, but I watch a lot of YouTube all over the place. Sorry, I just got a text I have to answer in a minute about my job. And it is 9:30 at night, so obviously sometimes
It's 10.
It's 10 at night. Sometimes jobs don't stop. It's a long one. Holy crap. I'll look at that in a minute. I think it's about the dog game coming up here in a couple weeks. Kona's going to be attending a hockey game.
You have to send me those tickets.
Yeah, I will. But I watch a lot of YouTube content based. I post on YouTube. I do a lot of that stuff. I was watching a video by Logan Paul the other day, also because I follow KSI, the Sidemen, and they're partners with Prime. Don't need to go into too much detail there for that. But he had a video posted that he called KSI Left Prime. And there was a song. You'll see where this is going. I mean, I'm sure you know where this is going.
I already know.
Yeah. There was a song at the first like 20 seconds of that video. You can go look at it. I liked that song. I wanted to use it for like a hype video for the hockey team, but I could not find it. I tried all the like, what would you call it? Sound recognizing apps, SoundHound and whatever the other ones are. Even Snapchat has a built-in one I tried to use. Like nothing was coming up. The song was not coming up. I didn't know why. I even went to the point of splitting the audio. So for people in who might understand this, I got the video, split the audio. So I took out like the talking or the like hype part and just got the tune split. But it's like a poor, like it's not great. I wouldn't be able to use that for the edit, but I split it and even put that through like the sound recognizing apps, and it still nothing came up. And I was at a loss. I didn't know where to find it. I was going crazy. And I went to the point of reaching out on Twitter to Logan's editor. His name's Gio. Just messaging him out of the blue. Now, I would say out of all my social medias, my Twitter is my least used. I have like no following on Twitter whatsoever. Like less, maybe 100 followers, if that. I don't even know off the top of my head. But everything else is a lot bigger than that. So I never expect any response on Twitter, especially to people that might have verification or anything like that. But I pretty much reached out to this Gio, Logan's editor, and just said, hey, this is my job. I work for a hockey team. I guess I can't read exactly what I said, but I said, let me pull it up here. I said, hey Gio, I'm just wondering what's the intro hype song in the beginning of the Logan's KSI Left Prime video. I'm a videographer and editor for a pro hockey team and wanted to use it for a video. Thanks. Was hoping he would get back with me, but had no idea if he was ever going to see it or whatever. And a day later, he posted that sending me what the track was, where he got it from, and everything. And like that was just like a unique. I'm sure that doesn't sound very like as exciting as it is to me. Like, you didn't think it was, like, anything to be excited about? Like, what did you think about it? Like,
you were, like, shocked. I was not shocked. Like, I think just the way that I look at people with a following, like, obviously there's, the people with hundreds of thousands of followers and blah, 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 and that gets to their head, and, they have people that read their messages for them. But when you get these smaller people, like, they're just like you, they see their messages, they'll respond.
I guess it's not so much
there's nothing, he doesn't have anything to gain from not responding to you.
And it wasn't like I didn't think he was going to be like, oh, I don't need to respond to this. This is nothing. If he wanted to do that, that's totally fine. Like, it would not have bothered me. He just would never have responded, and I would have gone on with my day. Like, that, I guess, that's not what I'm getting at. I guess what I'm getting at is, like, more of, like, I heard the song, wanted the song, was going crazy that I couldn't find the song, got to the point of, like, reaching out to Logan Paul's, whose video it was, editor, asking him if he knows the song or can just give me the name of the song. Because there's always that chance also that, like, he might not be the one that edited that video, I'm pretty sure he's Logan's only editor, but, like, I'm sure maybe Logan has a couple people editing his videos depending on what it is. I don't know that far into it. But that was, like, the last thing I could do was, like, maybe he'll message me back with the song name, which is what he did, and now I can use a song for a video, and that song is going to be one of the open videos this coming weekend, which I'm excited for. And I think it was mostly just the part of, like, I reached out to him, he got back to me, and it was all, like, professional, because I was like, hey, I work for a team, I'm interested in this song, could you send me this song? I think part of the reason why he did reply was because it was, like, a professional aspect, in a sense of, like, not just like a fanboy being like, I want to meet Logan Paul. Like, you work with Logan Paul. Can you help me meet him? Because I feel like I'm sure he gets those messages all the time. So I think it was just more of like that professional aspect of like, I'm an editor for something. He's an editor for something. And I reached out to him and he responded back. And that's what I was more baffled that he responded back because I was going crazy. I couldn't find the song. And then I was like, my last ditch effort was like, I'll reach out to the guy I think made the video and see if he responds back. And that's why I was kind of in shock, more or less, than him responding or not responding. But that's just a story of my job, like, because it was for my job, and I'm using the video now for my job. And that was, I guess, the story there. I don't really think there's an ending to that story. I don't even remember why.
The ending is that.
Well, I got the song and I'm using it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't even remember why I started that story. I was more just excited that I actually get to use the song because I was like, I could make a cool video to this. What is this song? And now I'm able to do that. So I guess, I don't know, like, never hurts to ask would be the moral of that story. But yeah, I think we'll end it there unless you have anything else to add.
Puppy dog needs her food.
Yeah, I need to feed the pup. It's a little late, but we'll end it there. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know it was very heavy on my end. I'm sure you want to hear her voice over mine. But if there's any questions about my job, because that's what this one was about, let us know in the comments below. I know hopefully this goes on Spotify and all audio podcasts. I know you can't respond there, but you can go to my YouTube channel. I'm not going to make a separate YouTube channel for this. It's just Chris Barkley, all one word, on YouTube, or just look up K Barley, Kbarly, on YouTube, and I will come up in this video. This will be a video on YouTube, like an audio video, so that you won't see us, but you'll see something, and it'll be us talking, and you can leave comments there. Maybe in the future we'll get some sort of like Reddit thread or something. We'll see how things go. We'll get into it. But right now, that's what it is. If you want to leave a comment or ask a question, you can ask them there, or send a message to Instagram to either one of us. I think yours is private. No? You have
My
a public?
Twitter is private.
Oh, yeah. So you can message us. All that stuff will be listed somewhere, description or below. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.